Happy Saturday to everyone. I am Ms. Delta coming at you from the Little Soap Shed. I am coming out to assist any of my skincare fanatics and soap makers. If you have ever tried to make a Stevenson's base, if you go and you price them, it's like $100 for not just a few pounds of it. So you can make it on your own, and so I wanted to bring you along and show you how I do it and give you my recipe. I sterilized everything, my stove, my blender, everything, my pan, my double broiler, and my utensils I'm using. And what I did is I put 20% distilled water, non-mineralized, 31% sodium cocoa butane, which is SCI, 5% stearic acid, 20% cocoa butane, cocoa mytopropylbutane. I'll put the ingredients below. 23% vegetable glycerin and 1% preservative. And you place all your ingredients, measure them out, put them in a double boiler, and let them melt until you cannot feel any graininess between your fingers. Take it out and let it cool, and I'll show you what it looks like. And the reason I'm making it is because I just used what I had, and this is what I have left, but it comes out like a base, like that. And you store it for future use, and you can make sugar scrub, whipped soap, all kinds of items with it. And so I wanted to share the recipe with you. If you're using the flakes form of the SCI, it can be quite challenging to melt, so this process may take you 30 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. This makes a 500 gram batch. This one's 100 grams of distilled water. SCI is 155 grams, stearic acid is 25 grams, cocoa propylbutane is 100 grams, vegetable glycerin is 115 grams, and Optifin is 5. And then I'll make this one a sugar scrub, emulsified sugar scrub, so when you put it on, it exfoliates, and when you rinse it off, it turns into a lotion. So you get two things for the price of one, and it will be beautiful. So I'm just melting this down. It's been about 15 minutes. And the only thing I did a little different on this recipe is I added my surfactant a little different. The surfactant was water soluble. And this recipe required 100 grams of water. And so my surfactant was water soluble. So I mixed it in my water first, but it is a surfactant, which is a foaming agent, and so you can see the bubbles a little bit. So I don't want to use my whisk and make it any more bubblier. And I've done it both ways, where I've added the SLSA in dry, and now I'm going to try it in the water because it's water soluble and see if it has any type of difference. I'm going to the SLSA just adds a surfactant to it and gives it a little bit extra lather. But some of the other products that I'm using are water soluble too, so sometimes it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. But in this instance, it's made a tremendous difference, and it's luscious and delicious on your body. And I did a watermelon lemonade and a freesia, and it flew off the shelf. So I thought I better make another 500 gram batch, so I have it for the Little Soap Shed if you want to order some. These are $13 ounces, because the products I source are pretty organic, pet friendly, vegan, palm sustainable. I use rice bran oil, and I use very high quality organic products. So they're $13 for 4 ounces, and they would last you probably a month in the shower. You spoon a little bit into a cup, and you take it into the shower, and you store the additional product in a dry, cool, safe place, because water and oil don't mix. It causes mold. So you have to be careful. So I love formulating recipes. I just did 10 lip balms, 5 lotions, 10 RSO salves, 6 healing salves, 2 whipped sugar, no, not sugar scrub, 2 whipped emulsified whipped soap, and 5 lotions. And she called me tonight and asked me for another 6 of my healing salve, because it's a pain salve that I use with several herbs that I infuse for 60 days. And then I make a salve and I use arnica and yarrow and comfrey root and chamomile and calendula and lemon balm and pine resin. And people have told me since I began making it that it is the one thing that stops their pain, and it's natural. So people with chronic pain, they love it. They do really well with it. And they were able to get off any of the opioids that they were on. And so I was really pleased. And it took me 12 years to formulate that recipe and get it perfect, because I'm quite a perfectionist, and I don't know why that is, but I am. See how the foam has gone down now? That's because all the other ingredients are homogenizing, because I used SCI noodles, and those noodles take a little longer to break down. But just know you can add at the end. The only thing that isn't in here yet is I'll take it off the stove and I'll let it cool until I can touch the bottom of the pan, and then I will add the preservative. And that at that point, you put it in the blender when it's cool, you blend it, and I'll go through that process with you and show you. And if I have not enough time here on TikTok, I'll post it on YouTube at Star Delta 9 on YouTube, so check it out. And I will show you my process. So we're just gonna keep letting this go. It's been going about 15 minutes. I suspect it'll go another 15. So I'll bring you guys back when it is completely melted. Now here, I think you can see that the bubbles have kind of gone down, and it's becoming more like a clear liquidy sauce. So I'm just gonna turn this down a little bit more, because I'm gonna go slow and steady. And how I know it's completely melted is I'll dip my spatula and I will touch both ends and pull it down to my fingers and rub it together. And if there are no grainy portions in my mixture and I cannot visually see any noodles left or anything of that nature, then I know it's ready for me to zip it with my blender for 1 full minute. Then I will remove it from the heat, and I will eventually place it in this container. But I'll take this top portion of my double broiler off of the stove and let it cool until I can touch the bottom of the pan. Once I can touch the bottom of my pan, because there's a certain temperature that you can add your preservative with. Oil and water don't mix, so you have to add a preservative for that and for shelf life. And so it has to get down to below a specific temperature, and it's generally for me around 110, 109, 107. And then I'll add the 5 grams of Optifin. Then I'll mix it up really nice with just a spatula and place it in the container with the lid on, and I will put it into a cool place, and it will turn pure white, almost like a vegetable fat. And you can use it for sugar scrubs, emulsified body butters, shaving cream, a face emulsified, exfoliant. You can use it as a a spa bar, like a spa lotion where you use sea salt, and it's beautiful for your skin and it exfoliates it. And what I like about this is it's an emulsifier too. So that emulsifies the waxes and gives you a sustainable bubble and cleansingness. And when you rinse it off and it touches the water, it turns to lotion. So you not only get clean and bathed, you have lotion applied, so you have two-step process done once in the shower, once a day. What's better than that? I love working smarter, not harder, don't you? So I've got about, it's 5:37 a.m. and I started it at 5:15, so I've got about another 10 minutes or so, and I'll bring you back. I can still see some noodles in here on the top. It's getting clear and almost where it's transparent, and that's what you want. Smooth, transparent. Touch between your fingers, rub it, be careful because it's warm, and right now it feels very smooth, but I can see some noodles on top. So I'm going to let those noodles do their melting, and then I'll bring you back for the next process. All right, so mine has now been on for 35 minutes, and it's very homogenized. Everything is melted, and I can feel in between my fingers. There's no grittiness. Be sure and wear gloves, especially if you're selling the product, and that's one reason. And the second is you don't want to burn yourself. This is ready to take off the heat. It's quite warm. Okay, so I'm going to use my little towel I have here, turn my heat off. You kind of want to dedicate a double boiler or a makeshift broiler if you make one. And so now I'm just going to wipe off the bottom because I don't want any more water in there. And I'm going to take you with me. And we're going here. My recipe, my towel, my container that's been cleaned out, that's been my storage container for all of this when I make it. I just cleaned it out. It was an almond cocoa butter, and so I washed it out when I was done with it, sanitized it, and all the good stuff. And now I just store this in there. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to let this sit here. And we're going to try something real quick. I really love the way that the surfactant worked out for me this time, because generally I'll add it with the powder, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to try something new to see if it would give me a better quality product in the end. Can you see that okay? Sorry about my dishes over there and here, but that's from when I was getting my ingredients. So this is a thermal gun. I want to check and see how hot it is. So it's 175 degrees, okay? So that is too hot to add in a preservative. And I'm using Optifin because it's one of my favorite preservatives. And I get this from Crafter's Choice. So I have my scale, which I've sanitized and used alcohol, my spoon, all the good stuff. So all I'm gonna do once this cools is I'm going to down to the temperature in which I can add this, which is about between 107 and 110. Then I'm going to mix that together really well, place it in this, and it will sit for 6 to 8 hours and turn like this. And it will look like almost like a I forget what it is, like a tallow grease or oil that you use in the grocery store that's in the containers, a fat. It looks kind of like that, like a shortening, right? But it's pure white. It smells delicious. I want to eat it. And so this is what I had remaining from the last wholesale order I did, because she ordered 6 of them. 6 4-ounce containers. So once this is all cooled and the preservative is in it, or cooled enough to add it, I'll place it in here, store it for 6 to 8 hours, and this time I'm going to either make a beard shaving cream for men and women who shave their legs and obviously other areas, or a sugar scrub with a really fine sugar in it, so you get an exfoliant, a cleanser, and a lotion. So you'll get 3 products in one. So leave the comments down there if you guys have ever tried this once I post the video. If it's too long for TikTok, over 10 minutes, it'll be posted on Star Delta 9 on YouTube. So go check me out and follow me on over there. So I'll bring you back when this is cool and we add the preservative. Okay, now I can touch the bottom of my double broiler pan, and that's what it looks like so far. And when I took it off the stove, generally you're supposed to use your stick blender while it's on the heat for 1 minute, but it was really warm at 175. And so now it is 120. And I can add Optifin between 1.7 and 1.20. I really like to do it a little bit lower, but because of the sake of the video, I'll add it. It's not going to deteriorate the preservative in any way, shape, or form. And as I stir it and talk to you, it's going to cool off too. And so once you're done with this, all you do is you add your 5 grams of preservative. You can choose the preservative of your choice, and your preservative percentage will change according to which one you use. So as I said, I'm using Optifin by Crafter's Choice because I love it. So I'm right at 118. So I'm okay to put the Optifin in. So see how beautiful? It almost looks like a fat that you would make French fries with. I forget what that fat's called because I don't buy it. My mom used to fry a lot of stuff with that, chicken and French fries. She loved it. And we as kids just ate that stuff up. But that's not the type of fat, but that's just kind of a visual, see? It's really pretty. So, I'm going to put my container on my scale. Hope you can see that, because I can't get my tripod back any further. I usually have something to put it on, and I'm using the counter because I thought I'd have enough space. So now I'm going to just set that on there. I have a pad here. They call them puppy pads, and I sterilized this entire center, wear my gloves, because this is product I sell, and I don't want anyone to get have any issue. So what I like to do, because these bottles have a tendency to drip and go down the side, so I use something like the end of a stick and hold it here, and it keeps it where it's supposed to go. And so I'm just going to put this on grams, tear it out to 0, make sure I have the product. That's the nursing in me, reading the label 3 times, checking and double checking 3 times, because that was the law. And now I'm going to add 5 grams. And there it is. Put my spatula back, wipe my bottle off really well. You're going to have to go over to YouTube, www.youtube.com, StarDelta9, STARDELTA9. You might enjoy the videos. There's over 900 videos over there. So I'm going to put my Optifin away here. I don't need my stick blender anymore because I'm going to blend this by hand. I'm just going to loosen it up a little bit. Smells just like Stevenson's soap whip base. And for 3 pounds, it was $109. That's ridiculous. And you can make this for, I can make 3 pounds of product for probably close to I don't know, I'm guessing, but I would say maybe a little over half that price. Yeah, you have a little more time consuming, and you have to make the product yourself, right, from scratch. And that's the part I love the most, formulating. Okay, so let's see what the temp is now. Looks beautiful, smells delicious. Yep, 115, so I'm okay. Now this container I used last night, cleaned it out, sterilized it, and I did a 500 gram batch, and this is what I had left because it was a wholesale order. And so I know this container is clean, I know where it's been. This is completely done and unscented. This is completely done and unscented. I'll let this cool for 6 to 8 hours, and I'll bring you back and I'll show you what I'm going to make with it. I haven't quite decided. I want to do some sort of shaving cream, because who doesn't need shaving cream? Both sexes need shaving cream. And it not only cleans, it takes away dry skin and turns into a lotion when you rinse it off. And everyone that's tried it as a whipped soap, they told me it makes a great shaving cream. So maybe I'll make a little shaving cream and a whipped sugar scrub. Or, I don't know. I think those two would work really well, because I already have whipped soap done. I have a few of those, but I'm going to post the video. And you guys tell me what your favorites are. Now, I'm just going to stick this in the sink because I'm just going to wipe it out with a paper towel, bleach it and clean it, and then I'll put it away. I don't want to run any water at all. Now, you see how it's just in the container? Like that? All I'm going to do is just kind of flatten it out a little and mix it with that other. I had 8 ounces in there. Yes, you can see it mixes real easy. I want to just say, if you're using or making products for clients and they purchase from you, be sure you're using proper researching on all your ingredients, proper usage rate, labeling. Yeah? Some of our labeling does not fall under cosmetic, but let's say lip balm, it falls under cosmetic. So you can get dinged if you're not doing the proper thing. So follow the little soap shed. I'm going to teach you guys everything I know. And what I don't know, we're going to learn together. So this is heavy. Heavy. This is probably, well, 500 grams weighs 17.64 ounces, I believe. And they do a lot of formulations. I think that's what it is. Or no. Yeah. And a double batch is 35 something. And so I was waiting to make a double batch, but my products on my unboxing didn't come in time. and it had some more noodles that I needed. So it's really easy to make. I'll make some more, and that's it. Now I'm just gonna cap this. I'm not gonna touch it because it's the same cap. You can see a little bit on it. Put it on here, right? I label it with the label that it is a base, soaked, whipped base, emulsified, and the date I made it. And I will put this in my canning cabinet because it's cool in there for 6 to 8 hours, and I'll bring you back and I'll show you what I'm making. Thanks for joining me, guys. Namaste. Okay guys, this is the one I made earlier today, and this is the watermelon lemonade, and this was the extra that I had. So it's a whipped emulsified soap. So you take a little bit like this, you take a spoon and scoop it out into a plastic little glass, take that into the shower and leave this outside so no water gets into it. Just add a little water. This turns into soap, and you can see how it lathers up so beautifully. Nice, beautiful bubbles. God, that's deliciously smelling. That's just the small amount I use, so you can see how it lasts you a long time. When you rinse it, it turns into lotion. So the one I just did for you also has I'm going to do a product that's going to also have an exfoliant cleanser, an exfoliant, and an emulsified lotion when you rinse it off. So a 3-in-1 product. That's how it works. My skin feels like it's been cleansed and perfectly scented with watermelon lemonade. So get you some, baby.